Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're listening from right now. Hope you're having a good one. This is Nick, aka Static Suppressor, and in this one with parasocial relationships, we are diving in to kind of determining who is a loyal viewer and who is a viewer out for themselves and developing an unhealthy relationship with a streamer. This is Let's Get Real for a second. All right, so let's dive right in to what a parasocial relationship within the streaming world means right off the gate. And it doesn't even have to be obviously about live streaming per se, but even content creation and influencing online. So parasocial relationships are defined as a one-sided relationship where viewers feel an emotional connection to a streamer despite ever having a real life interaction with said streamer. This dynamic is very common in the streaming world. I know this from experience myself, where viewers often feel like they know me or they know the streamer personally, even if the streamer or content creator doesn't really divulge too much into their personal life. And even if they do, viewers tend to start relating to them beyond just a reasonable interaction of being a fan. And because of that, these relationships, parasocial relationships, can become quite unhealthy and creating a very unrealistic viewer expectation that then, therefore, actually puts a lot of pressure on streamers and content creators alike. With a little background on parasocial relationships, if you're still kind of figuring out what that is, it's basically think of a paparazzi following a celebrity that you know of. You hear it all the time. Paparazzi are in celebrities' faces trying to get a photo as the celebrity is out and about in a normal atmosphere, right? Well, take that same kind of dynamic that the paparazzi is giving to a celebrity and put it in the mind of a viewer towards a streamer. But instead of catching a glimpse with flashy cameras and bombarding them with, hey, look at me over here, let me get a photo, the viewer is going to look at that streamer with an expectation of, hey, look at me, open your DMs. Hey, I sent you a message. Hey, I really love that you did this. Hey, I made you this. Hey, I'm going to get you this. Hey, we should meet up sometimes. Hey, you're going to TwitchCon? Oh, I am too. I want to see you. I want to meet you. But it's to almost an obsessive degree. It's not just a very calm atmosphere where if you meet a celebrity on the sidewalk and you're like, hey, do you mind if I get a quick selfie? Oh, yeah, sure. Same thing with streamers. It's not the same as, hey, do you mind if maybe we meet up? It's more like, I'm going to find you. We are going to meet up at TwitchCon, whether you like it or not. And why does this happen? Well, basically, you get a lot of viewers who will find a streamer or content creator that they enjoy their content as a baseline, right? They get entertainment out of just sitting and watching them. Well, in this peripheral, this viewer can now actually engage with said streamer and content creator more often. Now, of course, the big red flag are for those smaller content creators slash mid content creator streamers who don't really have a huge audience like a Ninja or a Tim the Tap Man, etc., but who fall in that kind of in between, hey, you're really cool, I enjoy watching your content, to, oh, can I get more out of you, please? Oh, because you're not that big, so therefore you should be able to react and you should be able to engage with me, your loyal viewer, at a drop of a dime because I'm always there supporting you. So therefore, a lot of viewers will often see streamers and content creators as friends because of regular live interaction, seeing intimate part of their lives and direct engagement through the chat. So if I'm on camera and my son decides to walk in and they overhear what his name is, that viewer could very well turn into someone who relates to me having a son to a degree of, oh, that's your son's name? Oh, my son's name is this. Oh, do you think they would ever want a game together? Oh, do you think they could ever video chat together? Maybe we should meet up sometime as a plate. Like, it goes beyond a reasonable engagement interaction. Oh, that's cool. You have a kid? Yeah, so do I. And that being that. Now, the type of parasocial relationship that this will pick up from a certain type of viewer are those viewers who kind of are having a feeling of connection and companionship and belonging to a community in a digital world. But that person might be a very lonely or socially isolated person in the real world versus the digital space. And because of that kind of anonymity and easy in, easy out inside of a live stream, digital engagement, it makes it much more comfortable for a viewer to develop a parasocial relationship because they're thinking, well, if I can watch this person 24/7, and I'm always there engaging, and I'm always the one chatting in there, that streamer should be looking to me like, oh man, I really want to get to know that viewer more. I want to get to know about them, when that's not the streamer's job whatsoever. So, the type of impact on the streamer's point of view with all of this, there's constant pressure to interact. Therefore, if you have a viewer who is constantly showering you with comments, engagement, and they could even be in the financial realm. Okay. They could be giving donos, subscriptions, bits, etc. So you have a streamer who is seeing this over the top engagement from a viewer. And that streamer is looking at it as, oh, this is awesome. I want to engage with this viewer more, not on a personal level, not on a personal level whatsoever, but more on a, I want them to now maybe hopefully promote me to their buddies, and it'll bring in more engagement into the stream. Little does the streamer know, depending on what that viewer's intentions are, and if they do develop a parasocial relationship, this is why this is more geared towards those smaller and mid-level streamers and content creators. If the viewer who is developing a parasocial relationship does not see that much engagement going on in said streamer or content creator's content, then what's going to happen is sometimes those viewers are not going to want to promote that streamer because they're going to want to keep them to themselves. Of course, this turns into a bit of a volatile situation because now the viewer is fully invested into this streamer's life, not only from a financial standpoint, perhaps, but on a personal standpoint. And because they recognize that this streamer is not some big level streamer, therefore, they're going to expect that the streamer themselves are going to want to know more about that viewer in a very unhealthy way. Now, let's be honest, if someone comes in and shows a lot of support to a streamer, the streamer may very well do their homework and look up that viewer's social media accounts and may not like what they see and might be turned off by this person on a personal level. But the issue becomes, if they are turned off on this personal level and they really don't view them as a friend, and they're viewing them more as just a fellow audience member who will hopefully engage and spread the word of their content, well, now you're kind of a double edged sword because on one side of the coin, you got the streamer looking for self promotion, looking for engagement, only keeping it at a professional level like that. On the other side of the coin, you have a viewer who is looking at the streamer like they are showering them with all the attention because they may be only one of a handful of a couple of active viewers at any given time. So they're going to be like, oh, yeah, this person knows all about me, and they're going to know about me whether they like to or not. Because the moment that that streamer decides to give that viewer who is developing a parasocial relationship the backhand, that viewer will just up and leave. And now the streamer is getting this pressure of, oh, well, I don't want to lose their support, but I don't want them to constantly keep on thinking we're buddy buddies. And because of this red flag between a streamer and a viewer's relationship, some streamers and content creators are unfortunately not built for this industry or this peripheral type of content creation because it can take an emotional toll on the streamer if they don't keep their emotions in check. Because if there's a strain of trying to keep everyone happy and maintaining an illusion of a close relationship, that can tend to lead to a burnout and maybe even anxiety and a little bit of stress, even from a streamer standpoint. And as I mentioned before, you end up developing these viewers who feel like they're entitled when they come by your stream or post on your content. Some viewers expect constant attention or specific behavior leading to very uncomfortable situations if their demands are not met. For example, I can't tell you how many times on a personal level with me that viewers will become upset if they feel like they're being ignored completely. And it could be from a missed comment to a not as appreciative donation or gifted sub or sub rather or given bits to a not even a reaction on a comment that is left on a TikTok or a YouTube short. And once that viewer feels that way, they get a random sense of feeling betrayed. And it kind of is illogical and it's way too emotional on the viewer standpoint. God forbid a streamer or content creator doesn't recognize you every second of every time you're by a stream, whether they're small, mid level, or a large streamer. The real groundbreaking view in this that a lot of viewers will not take into consideration is that their over engagement could very well lead to a turn off from other viewers enjoying that streamer's content. Imagine, if you will, of you're a viewer, you go to a streamer's chat slash channel for the first time ever. You've never met this streamer before. You were just scrolling around, came across them. You open up their live stream, and in their chat is nothing but maybe one or two chatters slash viewers who are just taking over the chat. And they could be talking about all sorts of personal stuff or things to make it feel like you, as a new viewer, have no context in what's following in this conversation. And it's one thing for that to always, and it's not to say that, oh, streamers and certain viewers aren't going to develop some sort of friendly relationship to where there will be maybe personal exchanges from time to time. But you should never, as a streamer, you should never let that take over your entire content, especially in the chat. And as a viewer, you should be respectful of if there are other people around, maybe engage with them or keep it kind of minimal and to the point of the actual game or content that's being created. Another thing to keep in mind too when it comes to these inappropriate demands from a unhealthy dynamic between a viewer entitled and a streamer trying to feel the pressure of keeping them engaged is kind of an emotional labor if you think about it. Because there might be occasions where a viewer will DM a streamer, not ever having really spoken to them personally ever, but they might DM a streamer about some real personal heavy stuff and almost expect a streamer to provide emotional support beyond what is reasonable. Some viewers even attempt to dig into the streamer's life, vice versa, expecting access to information that goes beyond what's shared publicly. I can tell you from personal experience, I never really showcase my Facebook profile of my real name, but at the same time, that's on purpose. I don't need a bunch of viewers coming into my Facebook life, typing in there where I actually have family and IRL friends and acquaintances who will see that from random folks. And here's the thing, too. Unfortunately, if a viewer develops a parasocial relationship with a streamer, if the streamer does not meet their expectations, not only can it escalate from maybe the viewer not engaging as much anymore because they feel like they're being, dismissed or ignored, but that could actually kind of get intensified on the escalation of harassment where a viewer's expectations could lead to other things such as like just trolling where all they do is come by a streamer's chat or a content creator's video and just type in heinous crap, stuff that doesn't pertain to anything. Whether it's you suck, oh, you're terrible at this, oh, what a boring streamer, oh, and then they keep flooding it, right? Now, obviously, the streamer can easily just block that person or delete that person, ban that person. But it still takes away from the overall experience from a streamer's point of view that they even have to deal with someone like that. How can streamers themselves kind of protect themselves? Well, first, they can kind of set boundaries. Obviously, establish a clear boundary with your viewer, being upfront about what they can and cannot expect from that streamer, especially if they're a new chatter coming in. They can also start communicating expectations by letting viewers know their support is appreciated, but explaining that it doesn't entitle them to personal attention or influence over the streamer's life, or even within the streamer's content. Like, I could never see myself looking at someone. Let's say someone gifted me 50 subs on Twitch, right? My immediate reaction is not, oh, wow, they're such a big support. They should be able to play with me now anytime I play a video game. No. Now, that viewer who just donated 50 gifted subs to you could look at it that way and be like, wow, I give you 50 subs and you don't even give me the time of day to play a game with me, well, if that streamer doesn't know who the hell you are, no, there's that it goes to that entitlement. You've already established a terrible base relationship because it's stemming from parasocial from the get-go. There's also moderation tools that a streamer can take. Obviously, like I said, if you have mods in your chat or if you have editors in your content, that you can actually have them, kind of handle those chat interactions and they can defuse tensions and maybe manage toxic viewers before a situation escalates. I know I have a few moderators in my Twitch channel who, if someone ends up spamming a bunch of crap in my stream, I won't really say anything because I don't want it to be a turn off of me looking like a Karen or a stickler in my stream. But my moderators tend to know how my streams go, and they'll be the ones to kind of step in, whether they publicly type it in the chat or they whisper them in a DM and just say, hey, slow your roll. This isn't that kind of stream. If you keep doing it, a repercussion is going to happen, such as a timeout. And of course, too, with this whole entire parasocial relationship, this will make streamers feel like they are pressured not only into engaging with them, but also continuously providing content in maybe live streams more often than they even feel is necessary, just because of the engagement that they have with these parasocial viewers, I'll call them. On the flip coin, to advice for kind of viewers, the viewers need to have a healthy engagement, and they need to encourage viewers to enjoy content without developing unrealistic expectations of the streamer. They need to understand that the streamers they have their own lives, their own limits, and if there's support coming their way, it doesn't come with a bunch of demands from you, the viewer. What a viewer really needs to do is just kind of view themselves as being a part of the community, not a one-on-one with the streamer with a grandiose image in their head. They should be looking at a streamer's community and content as how I love this place so much. I love this content creator so much. How can I get the word out to more people to enjoy this person's content? Because I truly want to see them do well. But that right there is going to separate the real viewer of support versus the parasocial stalker of support. So as we kind of finalize this episode about parasocial relationships with the streamer from a viewer standpoint and viewer expectations, again, key takeaways. If you are a streamer, do not care. I'm being honest here, by the way. Do not care about what is going on in that viewer's life outside of what's happening in the stream and maybe from another digital platform. Because here's the thing, all right? I'm really kind of getting transparent here. Think about whether you're a viewer or whether you're a streamer, okay? Really think about this. Are you gonna show up at their funeral when they die? Are you gonna be at their birthday whenever it is, like physically? Are you gonna be there in a capacity where you both refer to each other by your first name? That's the thing too. How many of these viewers know the streamer's full name? How many of these viewers does the streamer even care about, hey, what is your name? There needs to be an understanding, and it can come off very harsh, and I understand that. But my point is, you need to separate a stream from your life. I will always be one, and it's very cold-hearted, right? I'm probably not going to be someone to be at any of my viewers' wedding, right? I'm not going to be at their funeral. I'm not going to go to their kid's birthday party. I'm talking about this not even from a streamer standpoint, but also from a understanding viewer. I have plenty of streamers that I love to support, that I love to come by, some of which reciprocate and do the same thing with me when I stream. But I like to make sure they understand I'm not calling you up on the phone every single day. I'm not going to be texting you every single day. I have my own personal stuff going on in my life. I got kids. I got a family. I got a full-time career. What you're going through, wherever you're at, as a viewer, I can be a shoulder to cry on to a degree, but don't expect me to have empathy or sympathy. But now that just comes with me in a personal fashion too, because there are a lot of streamers who do very well when it comes to relating and, oh, this is a safe space, guys, and oh, tell me your guys' woes, and I'm gonna hit up each of you individually. That's not me. That's just not who I am. I am static suppressor, a streamer who likes to entertain and provide funny content to the viewers. That's it. That's all anyone should be looking at me as. Now, I do receive on occasion like gifts from viewers. And gifts are fine. Gifts are fine, but they don't play a role in being above anyone else as a viewer, in my opinion. Because once I do that, I truly feel like I'm giving them too much leeway of, oh, well, now they feel like they're just the most special thing in the world. Now, here's the thing, too, okay? I know a couple streamers who will go out of their way and make a viewer or two feel special for the sole purpose of it's because they give them so much money, financial support with their content. They could have someone come by their stream, not give a dime, but they could be there all the time. But these streamers, I'm not going to name names, but these streamers don't give a rat's ass about them. They care about the guy or girl who they don't like in real life whatsoever, but they're giving money hand over fist. So they're looking out for themselves, which from a streamer standpoint is not the right way to go about it either, because there needs to be an established, it doesn't matter if you give me 1 penny or 1 million pennies. I'm going to treat both of you guys the same depending on where you are in my content, in the engagement of a live stream, etc. But again, I cannot stress enough, as a streamer, you do not know these viewers. You will not visit them in real life. The closest thing you might do is maybe do a meet and greet at like a TwitchCon. But let's be honest, a lot of streamers and viewers in this space, my personal opinion, are socially awkward. A meet and greet in real life is a socially awkward thing, okay? This is like going out on a date with someone that you've only met and spoken to over a year plus online, then you meet and there's nothing to talk about and you both are on your phones anyway, okay? Same concept. Let's not spoil that with some grandiose thought of, oh yes, we're gonna meet up and we're gonna hug and it's gonna be no, that crap's for the birds, okay? Now, not to say that again, that doesn't happen, but as a 35-year-old who has been streaming since 2017 consistently, at least 3 days a week in the past 7+ years, I'm telling you, not once do I feel like meeting, truly, I don't feel like meeting any of my viewers. I don't want that to get awkward. I don't want that to get weird. I don't want that to become a turnoff for future content. Because I'm not going to meet them ever again. I'm not going to hang out with them ever again. We have a great rapport online. Keep it online, okay? But I can only give my own personal advice. Obviously, streamers, viewers alike can do as they wish. But in the realm of parasocial relationships, let's stop pretending like we all know each other. Let's stop pretending like we're the best of friends. You're not. Unless you can tell me your full name, or rather, unless you can tell me my full name, who my parents are, where I went to high school, who my kids are, that kind of crap. You're not a bestie. You're not a best friend. You're an online presence that I can delete in a click of a button. And the same thing goes for a viewer to a streamer. A streamer could very well try and, beg and plead for a viewer to, oh yeah, but come on, bud. No. I don't know you, streamer. I don't owe you anything, streamer. I'm sorry that it now feels like you're begging me to be there for no reason other than that pressure of engagement. I'm bouncing. So again, it goes both ways, but you guys make the decision. I'm going to make sure I don't end up on an episode of Dateline NBC. For the record, by the way, I did actually have a viewer come to my house and leave food in my driveway. Just, food for thought. Food for thought. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode on parasocial relationships and viewer expectation. Hope to see you tune in on our next episode of Let's Get Real for a Second.